million tab, no matter what you come back with from the
Brandon, I
state.
can guarantee, excuse me for cutting you off, I can guarantee the number is gonna be lower. Because I'm certain the State Department of Education is going to accept many of our renovations as renovations. And I can't promise up 40%, but I can promise that the number will be lower to every community member.
And I think if I could just interject, it's a distinction that we need to make, because the number of 60, if that's the number we're talking about this evening, the state will come back with debt service aid. So even though you're looking at a number that is bigger, your local share will be smaller. So we just need to keep that in mind when you're looking at it, because that's the beauty of this program that's in place, is that you get to stretch your dollar by X amount, because the local taxpayers only impacted 40 million because 20 is coming from the state, but we get to do $60 million worth of work, so you don't have the issue you referenced, which is, why do we put the brick off? Because we didn't have the money. You know, it's a catch-22, but that's really the plan. And so I think your observations are really accurate, and I think it's an important distinction to make when we communicate these things to the public, that while you are looking at one number, recognize that that is before we get any aid from the state. And so the realities are that it can be good, great, or greater. In any one of the scenarios, it's going to be better for the district than just a number being thrown about right now.
If I could just add, Brandon, this board majority has just been here for the last 2 months.
Oh, I know.
And we are going to try to rectify everything, and I promise you that tomorrow morning we'll be in touch with the building department as well as the fire department to address some of these issues that we mentioned tonight. I promise you that.
The other thing I was wondering, I know you said that it's for the buildings themselves, and sports fields and all that are not part of the program right now.
Right.
And
Some of them are.
what about the weight room?
Some of them are. Again, that would be, so that's a whole other conversation that I've had with the county office a few years ago, as they replaced the turf field here. They were going to give us the older turf. I think we have to prioritize, and you know me to be an athletic backgrounded person. And if I made the sports the priority and the school secondary, I think this board and this community should second guess me as a superintendent. So I will tell you wholeheartedly, although it may not be identified as a potential priority item, all of those items are being considered.
Because, I mean, as a former coach, obviously.
Lighting at the high school for athletic events.
They're important.
No, definitely, because, I mean, there's times where I couldn't get my kids in the weight room because there's holes in the ceiling, we have snow. Condensation in the weight room, the weights are wet, I don't need kids lifting weights, doing power cleans and dropping a bar on their head. Okay, so if we're gonna fix the buildings, somehow the weight room needs to be tied into that, because phys ed classes do use that, it's considered part of the building.
Okay, again, we are going to try to chip away and address all of these issues.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna have open session
Yes,
later.
sir. Yes, sir.
Any other questions dealing with this topic? Well, I thank you so much for your explanation. We will definitely have you back again, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, I'd like to now make a motion that we go back into our regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second on that? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Guys,
Okay.
before we proceed, if I may, I apologize for this long-awaited presentation, but it is time for our annual audit presentation. And I did tell Greg he had 5 minutes. So, Sean, I'm glad you billed us already. And I'm glad you did all your audit findings, so you can't add any more. But Sean Ferguson from Wilcox, Ferrioli and Associates, did I leave any partner out? Sorry.
There's a whole bunch of them.
No, we're definitely getting
They
billed
get
more.
more and
that
more
stuff.
too.
But Sean, thank you for being here. I know with our business administrator, Ms. Spazewski, has met with Mr. Matisich, Dr. Matarazzo. We have gone over the findings. I know some board members did pick up the audit recommendations. If you can just summarize it for the board and for the public. And then we do have a corrective action plan for approval tonight to rectify any areas of concern. Thank you again.
I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet.
That's what he said.
I'm going downhill.
Thank you, Rose.
I wouldn't be able to talk that long tonight. Excuse me. But first of all, I'd just like to thank the staff and administration for the help in putting the audits together, because they are getting very difficult and cumbersome for our firm and everybody involved to get the information that's required for them. Again, this year, we're presenting a lot later than normal. Average time is usually around the end of the year, December, January meetings is when we do present. This year it was pushed, the actual release date for the audits was pushed back to the end of February this year because of one of the new GASB regulations that require us to put some actuarial information and liabilities in regard to excuse me again.
Do you want a drink of water?
I'm okay. I'll work through it. For the pensions, for the post-retirement pensions. Sorry about that. What that forced us to do is just hold off until we got some of the state numbers, and we were allowed to hold our audits and release them at a later date in order to have that information available for everybody. But beside that, the report that we put together this year, just for you newcomers, we issue 3 types of letters or opinions in regard to the different aspects of the audit itself. One being the financial opinion, one being a gas internal control compliance opinion, and one being a single audit, again, compliance and internal control letter. In regard to the district itself, all 3 of those were clean letters. The financials, again, we're from the aspect of our unreserved fund balance, I think we're just under $600,000, which is the maximum amount that you're allowed to maintain. Again, that's not a large number for a district or any district due to the 2% cap. From the compliance side of things, the small report that we issue, the management report, that's basically going to cover all our compliance issues, our state guideline compliance issues, which are relatively minor compared to any of the financial information, single audit information, or any of the control issues that would have come up. Again, if we did come up with a couple items in our compliance. Again, with business administrator just coming on board just recently, we've sat down, we've talked with the administration in regard to what has to be done to correct this. A corrective action plan has been put into place in regard to every single aspect that we've come across in the audit itself. And going forward, we'll be able to clean up any of the issues that we've had and move on. If there is any questions or anything, I'll be happy to. I told you it wasn't gonna last long.
Well, thank you very much. Anyone have any questions on this? I want to thank and applaud our administration, besides yourself, on preparing this spreadsheet and who is going to address each item and when it's going to be done. And I thank them and I thank you for putting it all together.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Sorry to keep you waiting.
Okay, report of the board president, just to echo everything that everyone has been saying, congratulating everyone for all of their efforts, especially our dance team and all of our students for excelling in the areas that they have been doing. I know that Dr. Seuss Day is going to be Friday. I encourage all the board members, if they could be on board, to read to our students. I will be there with bells on. And I applaud also our PTSA, and I think maybe now might be an appropriate time. Would you like to mention about some of the efforts that you're going to be doing in the very near future? And I hope everyone comes out and supports all of our efforts. Rose?
Okay, yes, we're having a beefsteak for project graduation on March 24th. It's at the Palisades Park, Fort Lee Elks, and we're really trying to get the community to come out and support our students. We have some students cannot afford to come to project graduation, so we're keeping the cost as least as possible, as long as we get the support of the community.
Absolutely.
Please come out and support our kids.
Yes,
And
thank you.
also come out and support our athletes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, and thank you for all of your efforts.
Great prizes.
And next is the report of the board attorney. Very good. Next one, I'd like to entertain a motion for minute approval, January 23rd, 2019.
I make a motion.
Second on that?
Second.
Any discussion? Just that I'd like to congratulate and applaud Mrs. Montemuro for doing the minutes. Excellent job in preparing it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing your job.
No, because I know people have been critical if things were not exact, but we are very appreciative of what you've been doing. Roll call, please.
Thomas Matarazzo.
Absolutely, yes.
Stephanie Jones. Yes. Jason Kim.
Yes.
Rebecca Lee.
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Lynn Min.
Yes.
Jeffrey Wu.
Yes.
And Timothy Young.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Committee reports, finance, Mr. Matisich.
Before you, you have 10 resolutions, but I will read the number 11 also, so you, be it resolved that the board, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, accepts the financial reports of the board secretary and treasurer of school monies for the month of end, 12/31/2018. So therefore, you have 11 resolutions to be approved.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Okay, Matarazzo.
I have to recuse myself on number 2, number 1 on there, Samantha Matarazzo. Other than that, yes.
Jang, Stephanie Jang. Yes. Jason Kim.
Yes.
Rebecca Lee.
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Lynn Min. Yes. Jeffrey Wu.
Yes.
Timothy Young.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Kim.
Before us, we have a full resolution of the use of the buildings and grounds. I make a motion to pass this one on consent agenda.
Excellent. Second on that? Any discussion?
Second.
That was seconded by, Rowe. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tom Matarazzo.
Yes.
Stephanie Jang. Yes. Jason Kim.
Yes.
Rebecca Lee. John Madison.
Yes.
Lynn Min. Yes. Jeffrey Wu.
Yes.
Timothy Young.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Next is Personnel Committee, Mr. Jeffrey Wu.
Yes, before you, we have 9 resolutions. I make a motion that we move on all 9.
Second on that?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Tom Matarazzo.
Yes.
Stephanie Jang. Yes. Jason Kim.
Yes.
Rebecca Lee.
Yes.
John Madison.
Yes.
Lynn Min. Yes. Jeffrey Wu.
Yes.
Timothy Young.
Yes.
Great. Next, curriculum, Mr. Yang.
No report.
But I do have to add and applaud Mr. Yang for trying to get the curriculum set up, meeting. We've been running into some kind of date problems, but that will be addressed very shortly. And I thank Mr. Yang and Dr. Cirillo for doing that. Okay, next one will be negotiations, Mrs. Yang.
Yes, okay. Today we had administrators negotiation, and we're going to meet again in March 18 at 5:15. And also for teachers negotiation, the date has been set for March 13th at 5:30 p.m. And we're going to do our best to meet the right points in between. So,
Thank you.
yeah, try to give them the contract on time.
Great, and thank you for juggling your schedule to make sure that we try to adhere to all this, and our effort is to make sure that it is all met. Very good. Next would be PTA, PTSA, Mrs. Min.
You skipped the policy.
Oh, I'm sorry, policy, I'm sorry, Stephanie Jang, policy.
Policy, there is no report.
No, okay. Next would be PTA, PTSA.
No report at this.
Okay. Next, student activities, field trips, Mrs. Lee.
Before I present the resolutions, I wanted to just congratulate Jessica Dunn again for the silver prize for 2019 Philharmonic Young Artist Concert. She was the youngest out of 50 musicians, and she got silver. So congratulations once again. And for the resolutions, before you, there's one resolution with 6 trips.
Okay.
Approved.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion?
John Morrison,
If not, roll call please.
Tom Matarazzo.
Yes.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes.
Jason Kim,
Yes.
Rebecca Lee.
Yes.
John Matisich.
Yes.
Yun Nen.
Yes.
Jeffrey Will.
Yes.
And Timothy Yuen.
Yes.
Great. Next will be calendar food services. Mr. Barnabas Wu, in his absence, I'll take it. No report. Next,
Take the easy one.
yes, that's the one I'll take. Okay, next one, old business. Anyone have any old business? Not people who are old, but, yeah. Okay, if not, new business. There's a resolution on board to accept the audit report.
I'll make a motion to accept the annual report.
Second on that?
Second it.
Any discussion?
No, actually,
If not, roll call.
yeah, right, well, and the corrective action plan.
And the corrective action plan?
Yes.
Yes. Second, any discussion on those two? If not, roll call please.
Tom Matarazzo.
Yes.
Stephanie Jang,
Yes.
Jason Kim.
Yes.
Rebecca Lee.
Yes.
John Matisich.
Yes.
Yun Nen.
Yes.
Jeffrey Will.
Yes.
Timothy Yuen.
Yes.
Great. Next, audience participation, and I just want you to know, we have our Sergeant at Arms going to be timing and give a 1-minute warning, so it's a 3-minute discussion. Yes,
I have
ma'am.
just a fast question. Kathy Doheny, PPA President and Yearbook Advisor. I need to take a picture of the Board of Education. Would you like me to, since Mr. Barnabas Wu is not here, could I do it at the March meeting?
Absolutely.
So everybody can comb their hair,
Hopefully
get
we'll
ready?
Get a haircut by then and do well.
I gotta shave you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so we'll plan on it.
Watch. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, your name?
Yes, my name is Sun Chong Bang. My last name is Bang. I live in 2473 Lincoln Street. And today, I'm gonna make a quiz. I know you guys want to go.
That's all right.
So, this is the reason why I'm here is I have here for the thinking about, not thinking about, like if you guys have any plan to hiring more school students, teachers aid, because we need more in this ECC and in even Lindenburg. I don't know about the high school, but so I'm here to, if it happens, because when not only the general classroom aids, also we need a special class aid too. So, but it's very short aid. So, do you any plan to hiring or is it part of the budget, or coming to
Sure, it's a great question, ma'am. Thank you for being here. So I will tell you right now, we are in compliance with every special education classroom and that is required to have a teacher aide. In addition, we do offer teacher aides in some classrooms where it is not required by law. So we are exceeding the expectations of what the law states. We are always looking for additional assistance, but we have to be mindful of the cost associated. It doesn't mean that we are not looking. We are looking.
Yeah, I understand, but when I'm talking about to the school staff and other platforms, because there's people outside, but the problem is they don't want to come here because can I say this? This is
I don't know what you're gonna say.
because
Say it.
The pay is
the
very
pay
low.
Yes,
Yes.
very low than other.
Yes.
Yes, and then that's why they don't want.
You can
to
say
come.
it. I am
No,
trying.
sorry.
It's okay.
No.
But that's one of the reason why they don't want to come here to work. Because as you see, when I come into ECC, my son was here 5 years ago. My second son, his name is Anthony. Yes, we have a beautiful staff,
Thank you.
and then slowly, they all disappear. She's gonna move into the Lindenburg. I don't know what happened.
She got promoted.
Promotion. It's called promotion.
What I will.
I was wondering, like,
Now, what I will tell you, and it's something that we, 6 years ago when I became superintendent, we created a salary guide, which does show increases annually for teacher aides that were so underpaid, and I do understand and agree. I would also, and again, the board, they're all volunteers. Tonight, what the board did was, people that are not always necessarily appreciated, the part-time custodians in our schools. This board just approved tonight that they will get a little bit of an increase, and it's not a lot, but the little things do make a difference. we are always looking to do better for our employees. Again, we do have limitations, but it's not like they're being neglected. We're doing the best we can with the very little we have.
Absolutely. And I can,
Thank
prob-
you.
you know, not only to
You
the,
have to see, because
Yes.
I know you don't know the inside the
Sure.
stories about you guys, but when I picking up the kids, I don't see that much of the.
well, thank you, and we had thoroughly agree with you, and I think that the aides are underpaid, so are the teachers, so are the secretaries. We're hoping to rectify all of that with, Mr. Jang and the negotiations. But thank you very much. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I know I'm stuck to 3 minutes, but I'm trying not to go over.
Looks like you're running away with it.
Yeah.
No, actually, I brought some stuff for you because my athletes and other athletes from the high school asked me if I would come talk on their behalf. And you know me, I'm an advocate for athletics and for the kids. Okay? Next week is our sports dinner. Okay? Winter sports. Now I'm putting, like I do my kids, challenging you. Okay? I have not seen, aside from Joe once in a while, okay? Because he's busy too. I have not seen a board member since Maria Alvarez.
Excuse me, I did not even get an invitation yet. I just asked Dr. Cirillo,
Same.
did I get an invite to that?
March 6th.
Wednesday night.
Next Wednesday. At the Fiesta, 6 p.m.
Okay. March.
Okay? I am challenging the Board of Education, as well as Dr. Cirillo, to attend and show your support to the athletes. Okay?
I've already
Now-
confirmed, we will be there.
All right, I hope so.
And
Okay?
I'm sure my
I
son
go
will
to
be happy
almost
to
every,
join me.
Good.
I've been to so many of the events.
I
Again,
know.
I just am president.
6 p.m.
I
Six
have to be
p.m.
honest, I
Brandon,
missed a couple.
Brandon.
I've always been there.
Some board members do have to pay.
Oh.
Yes.
They all should pay.
Yes.
You also have to pay. Why not?
Brandon,
Yeah, and
I'm
I-
gonna share the invite with them tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't get an invite to that yet.
I mean, the only reason why I say this is because
Absolutely.
over the last few years, the athletes have felt neglected, okay? Because I've seen it. I've seen board members go to Italian Honor Society inductions. I've seen them go to a bunch of other academic induction ceremonies. I even saw all of you, and former ones last year, all of you walked into graduation, but nobody showed up to support the athletes, and that's not right, okay? And the last time I was here last year, with the whole big blow up and everything and defending myself and whatnot, okay? I said when I was in high school, we always had a principal there, we always had the superintendent, and we always had board members, okay? This board has to recognize that you need to split your time between academics and athletics.
Sure.
Okay? I understand times are different in this town, cultures have changed, okay? But at the same time, you have athletes in this high school who depend on athletics to go somewhere, okay? Not everybody is gifted in academics. And I know from my experience, because I tutored one of my kids last year in geometry. He was failing the course, he was ineligible for half the season, and I stayed up with him at the library late at night, late afternoons after practice, even to the point for his final exam. I tutored him at the high school from 3 until 10 o'clock at night, teaching him an entire year of geometry. The kid went in the next day and got a B+ on his final.
Excellent.
Okay? But this is what happens. These kids go out there and they represent you, myself, other coaches, their families, Palisades Park, to the best of their abilities. And when the dinner comes around, where is everybody? Where are the higher
Can I
ups?
just say in defense, again, this,
I
four
know.
of the 8 of us have
Uh-huh,
only
I
been
know.
on for 1 month.
No, I know.
So I promise you, again, we will try to make every single event that's possible. Again, I didn't get an invitation yet.
No, I. And the next thing I want to talk about, okay, which,
You didn't get one? No, no one
it's
got
3
it.
minutes. Can I have another 3 minutes?
Again.
Is that it?
Are you buying the minutes?
Huh?
How much will the tickets be for the event?
Oh God, I have no idea.
$30 a ticket.
It's $30 a
It's
ticket.
$30 for adults for the sports.
Okay.
dinner.
Okay, they can afford it.
Now with the sports dinner coming up,
Okay.
okay, with the sports dinner coming up, and I apologize that I'm over the time. Okay. We were told, and this happened during the fall sports too, we were told as coaches that there will be no more trophies given out to kids. And you know what? That's not right either.
I think we addressed that at the one meeting,
But
last
we're
month or
still,
so.
it's still not getting done. I had to pay out of my own pocket to buy my kids trophies, and that's not right.
The board was not, Brendan, in all defense, the board was not aware of this. It didn't even hit this level. We didn't know why, and I think we addressed it in December's meeting, not to cut you off.
I wasn't here in December,
Okay,
so.
well, that's when we
I mean,
addressed it.
and just in case it was a problem.
Se pone espectacular.
I did bring former trophies, some that Dr. Strill actually gave out to my brother for baseball. I got a bunch of trophies. You know, I'm in the Hall of Fame now. I've gotten a bunch of accolades and trophies, all from the high school. Being an athlete, okay. The athletes' trophies don't take away from other kids, like what was told to the coaches, okay. If you're an MVP of the team, that's because your teammates respect that. They respect the effort that person put forward, and they respect that person in general, okay? An MVP stands for more than just a valuable player, okay? More than just the best athlete on the team. It's an all-around figure, okay? Now, I know some of you have kids on teams, some of you don't, okay? But, for example, what would have happened if your children played football? Okay, they won a championship, or they were in the championship, okay? At the end of the season, if your kids did not receive a trophy, how would your kids feel?
But in all defense,
They got nice
Brandon,
stuff.
again, in all defense, it didn't hit this level.
Okay.
We didn't make that decision. We are going to address it,
Okay,
okay? Okay?
I guess that's it, so.
Thank
Alright,
you.
so I'll see you next week.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other audience members?
Dr. Cirillo, will you, no, seriously, I'm not, will you definitely, about the Ironman's Award for the seniors?
I spoke to Mr. Spafford.
The parents do not want a piece of paper in a frame. We've given them plaques years ago, they've been giving them a plaque, it costs $20 a child, $20 a student. If we have a handful, maybe we have 10 or 12 students, if we have that many that did 3 sports for 4 years, I can't see it being a problem for us to get them,
Rose,
recognize them.
Rose, I don't disagree with you one bit.
Okay, because they
I
don't
do
want a piece
not,
of paper.
I do not believe, and I will double check in the morning, I
Okay,
do not believe we have many
I don't think so either.
three sport athletes for 4 years.
I don't think so either.
And for the record, if we do, I will pay just like he did out of my
I
pocket.
will pay too, I'll fundraise for the
But for the record, the issue tonight is not 3 sports for 4 years.
No, I know.
People have said the Iron Man was
3
10
sports-
letters or more.
Right.
Let's not get into the debate
No,
of
I'm
what an
not.
Iron Man
All I
is.
think is, all I'm asking is they do not get a piece of paper in a dollar
Okay.
frame.
It's always been a
The
plaque.
amount, it's always been a plaque, and if we have to raise money to
We
buy
don't.
them, we'll do it.
We
No.
don't.
Okay.
But again, we have to establish the criteria.
Okay.
Because to me, this is my opinion, just like everyone else is entitled one, the Iron Man or woman is a 3-sport athlete for 4 years of school.
Good.
Other people disagree with
Yeah, they
me.
say because.
Thank you. Let's leave it alone.
Yeah, you know.
Everyone's
Okay.
entitled an opinion.
Yes.
Okay, any
One more thing, I'm sorry. On the school website,
Yes.
now, I don't know, I wasn't here earlier, so I don't know who got recognition, who didn't.
Jasleen got
Jasleen
all the
got
recognition she
recognition.
deserved.
Okay, I'm just curious. This has been out for a while. I've been posting on Twitter, all this stuff. I've even tried contacting the Bergen Record. I've even tried contacting.
She's
Yes.
right there.
I've even tried contacting NorthJerseySports.com. And at the time, I didn't know that the dance team did what they did, and I congratulate them like I do every other team. Okay,
real?
but you know, I've tried contacting them so that our kids don't get press anymore. It's ridiculous.
Again, we can't
And-
dictate to
no,
the
I know.
record.
But you know, like I try to contact people and no press.
Okay.
And her and Nicolette and the dance
Brandon?
team.
Maybe after this
Brandon, I know
meeting,
you got
speak
here
to
a few minutes late, but all of
No, I know.
all of my mentions were the swim team,
I got
the
it.
basketball
Yes,
team,
it was done earlier.
and they're all
Now-
getting recognition on the website. They are being advertised.
So it's gonna go up on this
Yes.
website online.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
The new way he's doing it, the student.
And maybe you could speak to Krista after the meeting about contacting the record yourself.
All right.
Anything else, audience? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion that we go into closed session for an HIV investigation. And do we have to go back into open?
Yes, sir.
And then after that, we will go back into open. Can I entertain a motion?
I make a motion to go.
Second on that?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Sound like an